Yo,
Morning, Jack. Jack,
yeah,
you came and went.
huh?
I'm pretty excited this morning.
And the reason being,
I thought of a thing that would be a pretty interesting paper slash short talk. And in support of it, I'm looking for stories and instances of coevolution. And I've got a few this morning that I'm pretty excited about. See, here's the thing. We can hear stories about how people change technology or people resist technology. Those are common. We also see stories about how technology changes people or technology does not change people, right? Those are common as well. But what we have are fewer instances of coevolution being successful, where that actually happens bidirectionally. So I've thought of a few, and that's what I'm pretty curious to organize my thoughts around and do something that might be clearer to present those ideas. Those may be obvious to you, but I think that there's not yet enough real hard, cold instances that can be retold as stories. So that's where my head is right now, Jack.
well, you don't have to go any further than Carl Sagan's ex-wife and the whole idea of symbiosis.
I think that's excellent. What I'm trying to do is collect, multiple such stories.
Yep.
And I think, you and knowledge and, the conditions you were suffering from a couple decades ago, that's a very curious one also. It's always stuck in my mind ever since the first time you told me.
Why?
But this morning, because, see, what's clear in all of this is if you receive information and do something about it, that's almost foundationally what intelligence is all about. But there's so many examples of information impinging upon someone and doing absolutely nothing for that person. Behavior doesn't change, thinking doesn't change, values don't change, nothing changes. It might as well be that, there was a wall that prevented that information from going into that person because effectively that's the case. So that's foundational to technology affecting people. That's one side of the coevolution cycle. If that doesn't happen, coevolution doesn't happen. And you're actually a very good example sorry, how information can reach a person and change that person's behavior and thinking and life, essentially. And that's, I think, a great story. I know you've told me many times, but, that's a very good story. And to the extent that people cannot receive information, coevolution can't happen. And we're seeing now that there's a large part of the US population that cannot receive information and change their thinking, change their behavior, think their outlook on life. It just doesn't matter. So, information, and by the way, most information is delivered via technology these days, might as well not exist. Anyway, these are not well formed thoughts at the moment, but that's why I'm interested in kind of fleshing this out a little bit better. The instance that I was thinking about this morning, by the way, is biomimicry and operating systems. This happened when I was booting my machine this morning. I was talking, hey, there's an initialization sequence. Well, you could think of that as a birth sequence. And once you're, operational, like your heart's beating and your oxygen is flowing, as long as you're receiving cycles, now you have to figure out, what's the next thing? You have to boot up your sensory systems. You have to start listening to whatever's coming through your ears, coming through your nose, coming through your eyes, coming through your skin, coming through your pores, coming through whatever it is, right? So there's kind of like an equivalent process when the system has to figure, okay, so what are my devices? How do I actually make sure that I'm receiving signals and sending signals to those devices in a healthy way? Then there's a prioritization process. What am I going to give attention to? How much time I'm going to be devoted to this? It's running fine, so I can put it in the background, because kind of like autonomic breathing, kind of like autonomic walking. But then there's also the coevolution aspect. What do I want to get better at? How do I want to, refocus attention, aka learning and education and competency? And then of course there's handling of error conditions. What's that ouch mean? What happens when this condition happens and sends this kind of a signal that I interpret as a red signal? How am I constantly monitoring what's going through this channel, which normally doesn't matter, but all of a sudden I get a nice little blip and it says, hey, maybe I should look over that direction. Okay. So anyway, I'm looking at that. But then, of course, the more we want to evolve operating systems, the more we can learn from the way these entities, these organic protoplasmic entities work. What does health mean? What does centralization of control mean? It's a vulnerability. Some things you can decentralize, some things you cannot decentralize. Then going the other way, how can we learn from systems? How do we learn to make ourselves better because we understand operating systems better or large complex systems? Look, Jack, these are all very unwell formed thoughts at the moment, but there's stuff there that makes me ask questions, and I'm thinking about the bi-directional aspect of it. And I don't know. That's just what my mind's doing this morning, and I thought it was curious. And you're one of the few people I can talk to about this.
So you're rapidly becoming characteristic of the ancient Chinese philosopher. In your old age, you've migrated away from fingers on keyboards to thoughts in the brain, pontificating about the world and all its marvels. The ancients were doing that in order to understand God's message. You and I are doing it for other reasons. But you are going down some very, very powerful paths.
These are the conversations I want to have. I don't know enough. I'm curious, and I want to find other curious people to have these conversations. And therefore, Jack, that's why I appreciate you, Kayla, Eric, those who show up here on Heiner on a regular basis that put up with these questions, put up with, perhaps some dead ends, but perhaps some interesting seeds for thought. Not just from me, but from the all of us. And I actually said way back in 2017, when all these conversations started, I said, it's going to take a while before we actually get through our walls of political correctness and being nice, and not pushing people too far. It's going to take a while before we can actually get to some really interesting things. Now we did have hit a few interesting things right away, but they're the more, obvious interesting things. But it takes longer to hit the non-obvious interesting things. And that's why I think it's really cool that there are people like you and Kayla and Eric and Heiner and Heiner's friends, and you're bringing your tribe to really get through all of that, PC crap, all of that politeness crap, and really be curious about interesting topics. Not the least of which is keeping that up makes me keep thinking on a regular basis. Maybe not every week. My brain doesn't work every week, but at least regularly enough based on some of the conversations that happened here. And there are very few other very interesting conversations that happened during the week. I don't know about you, Jack. Where else do you get your interesting conversations? You probably have your tribe, so I don't know how frequently you guys meet. But occasionally I listen in on, I don't know, maybe once a year, once every 2 years, on other similar talks where I look at recordings of them. And maybe it's that I don't have the longevity with them, that I don't actually read between the lines of what is being said. But it's hard for me to get plugged into those. Over.
Well, so I go to the Ward Cunningham talks on Wednesdays. Those have been running
And
for years.
Sundays, right?
And now they're on Sundays as well. And they migrated away from Google Meet to Zoom. Um, and honest to God, in terms of software developers, they are the most rambunctious creative tribe you can imagine. There's a guy that showed up on in their group called Zach Babb, and he started talking about this database he did that allowed you to copy by reference. And I said, "You're doing transclusion," and he said, "What?" I said, "You're doing transclusion. You have reinvented Ted Nelson." Well, not only was he doing that, he's doing micropayments and a whole shitload of other Ted Nelson stuff all by himself. So I told the group that the best way to get into Ted Nelson's head was to read his book Possiplex. And one of the other members in the group, a retired MD who lives in Bellingham, uh, bought the book.
So let me follow up with two questions on that, and then I'll check in and see how Kayla's doing, okay? So one question, when you bring up transclusion, and I've actually thought about this quite a bit, I think transclusion is one half of a very good idea. I've looked at transclusion a lot. I've looked at it in Ted's context. I've looked at it in form of iframes. I've looked at it in terms of, even workflowy, etc. There's a small problem with transclusion. On the face of it, it's a very useful concept, right? Have one authoritative reference, that can be used in multiple different places. The thing that I find difficult with transclusion is transclusion doesn't understand the flow of the container, right? If I've got document X and I've got the snippet Y, I can transclude Y into document X, but the flow is determined by X and Y has no idea what that flow is. It should not, right? So the transclusion of Y into X should have some mechanism for, let's say, plugging it in nicely and sealing the edges, if you would, so that the flow seems natural and appropriate. I'll give you one example, right? Simple example. CSS settings, right? It's a bad concept that presentation is mixed up with content, but presentation is mixed up with content. So I've got this document over here, and it's in this font, this style, this set of parameters, and this page width. I've got transcluded content over here. Years ago, it used to be HTML. Now you can send it as JSON and get rid of all that presentation. I understand that, okay? But still, how do you apply it the right way? And that's just one example. What about the lexicon being used? X is being written at a 12-year-old's level. This one is being presented at a college graduate's level. How do you transclude that appropriately, right? So I think there's half a problem with transclusion, which is not yet addressed. And it's the harder problem of how do you fit it nicely within a flow. It's not the responsibility of Y, it is the responsibility of X. So let me just say that's one idea. Second idea, just a minor trivial one. Does anyone in Ward Cunningham's group mention functional languages and functional approaches? Or are they language agnostic? I don't think you really can be because certain languages have built-in ideas that are foundational, like immutability or state management. So that was an idle curiosity. And after you answer those two, then let's see if
Well,
or
he's
even
got a
before.
bunch of we've it that's never been a topic of the conversation, but I can tell you this. He's got people in the tribe, and possibly Ward himself, who are extraordinarily literate in programming languages and what they mean.
So are they no longer happening on Wednesdays? Because if they were, I would try to attend. If they're only on Sundays, I can't really attend the
No,
first
no,
hour.
they're 10 o'clock on Wednesdays.
Are they open to other people
Oh, that they
visiting?
Sam, they would welcome you.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a try if you would send me a link and a possible introduction.
I will I will in fact do just that.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Kayla, how goes it? By the way, Jack, I've also
That's
been
fine.
jabbering. Hey, are you eating breakfast?
Sort of.
I can go refresh my coffee. But anyway, I just checked in with a little bit. You caught the tail end of it. Jack and you have not yet checked in. So I'm going to refresh my coffee and the two of you can check in. And then I can perhaps uh, regurgitate a little bit of the idea that got me all excited this morning and I was jabbering about with Jack. Over.
Oh, I don't need to check in
Okay. Jack, how goes?
Why don't you need to check in?
Uh-oh.
because there's nothing to say.
Come on, every morning there is something to say.
Jack,
Well, why don't you check in?
Well, I'm pretty checked in, you know what I'm saying?
okay.
If you
Okay.
look at the picture, I'm in bed.
I'm pretty checked in then too.
There you go. Where are your boys?
One's sleeping, oh, they're both sleeping actually.
Oh,
They
Damien's
do
back for
that.
the weekend?
I'm sorry?
Damien's back for the weekend?
He is coming over here, but he is currently in Long Beach. And he's
Ah,
probably going to be leaving at noon.
oh, okay. So you're just saying because of the time, he's probably still sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay, get it. Okay, I'm away from my desk, so I don't know who just checked in here.
Heiner,
I was suspecting you would be Heiner. Anyway, my coffee is still brewing. Heiner, just wanted to let you know that I checked in. Kayla just checked in. Jack is checked in, although we still don't know what's
I
occupying
saw
Jack's
Jack.
mental. And so, how are you, Heiner? You want to check
Half
in?
and half.
Did you say half and
50-50.
half?
In Arabic, it's nus. Half and half.
Hub and
Nichts,
hub. I don't know what
nichts,
that means.
nichts Volles und nichts Ganzes.
Not full, not empty, huh? Right? Is that what it means? Is that what it means?
You see Jack laughing? Me too.
Okay. Anyway, Heiner, for you and Kayla, I want to just give like a 20-second recap of what was on my mind. I was talking to Jack about coevolution. I mean, it's mentioned all over the place with Doug Engelbart's ideas, but every time I hear it mentioned, I hear the theory behind it, but I don't hear enough stories about how coevolution actually happens. And I myself have waved my hands and said, we do this, and then we do this, and it builds on each other, and then we get faster and faster at that, and therefore coevolution is good. But we don't have enough stories. We don't have enough hard instances of it. So I was actually in the process of number one, really fleshing it out better. And number two, try to put a place for multiple stories so I can actually reference these cases where coevolution is a good thing and has helped us, humanity, in either micro or macro ways. So I was thinking perhaps that might be an idea that I could engage you with and get some stories from you, from Kayla, from Jack, from Eric, and really compile this thing, which might turn out to be an interesting paper slash talk. Over. I'm gonna go check on my coffee.
I tried to also make a coffee. I didn't had breakfast yet.
It's evening, your time.
It's awfully late in the day, Heiner. How the hell did you get by without breakfast?
Well, I just woke up. I have no breakfast
Oh,
yet.
Heiner's on California time.
Yes,
where are you?
in Berlin.
In where?
In
Berlin.
Berlin, Germany,
You're
old
in Berlin,
Europe.
Germany. I've been there. So, but how do you live on California time?
I don't
This is
know.
not
It
regular.
happens.
Oh, the interesting people he talks to are in California time.
Ah, but then
No,
that
no,
means
I was
he's
very
writing.
busy the last days, weeks, and months. And I worked till 5 in the morning, and then somehow I fall asleep. It happens.
That's a
Got
good
it.
thing, Heiner. It means that you're inspired, you're in flow, right?
Well, if I look outside, I haven't done it yet. It's probably snow and icy. Yes, we have winter here, and it's very, very icy. And we have an
Tell us
ice
about it.
age here in Central Europe, and we could bring some snow over to you, to California, if you want.
Well, we are pretty much lacking snow in California. Now, our East Coast is a model like Germany. It's getting slammed with snow and ice.
Here it's about 51 or 52 degrees.
It's a reminder from Sam.
Oh, right. So that's what that's 20 degrees above freezing. So that's about it's probably around 10 degrees centigrade, it seems. Celsius, I mean, Celsius. It's not super cold. It's just chilly here. In fact, it's quite comfortable to go for walks in this kind of temperature here. Other than that, it's actually raining. It's going to rain all day, it looks like. Well, seems like that coevolution idea met with a thud. On to something else. I have a list. But while I find my list, I gotta ask the question. It's an inevitable question. It's gonna come up sooner or later, or I'm gonna ask it sooner or later. There's been more stuff coming out on the child abuse, the child yeah, I'll just say abuse coming out from what's been released. What? How many days ago? 5 days ago? 5 days ago. Last Friday. You guys caught up on any of that?
It's a little bit disgusting, so I don't pay any real attention to it because it happens to be the primary diversion tactic around all the other really truly bad shit that um, our monarch is trying to pull off.
There's a lot of bad shit, but it's still pretty bad on its own.
No, it's bad on its
Yeah.
own. There's no question. But the fact that they send out highly redacted um, documents and then leave the redactions off on some of the victims, which is really wrong, um, means that they're simply being nasty. Now,
Well,
there's a claim in a headline today that Congress alone will get to see the unredacted files.
let me correct you on that. Outside the US, there's at least three entities that have the unredacted versions. I am 100% sure. And there's at least, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 countries that have already launched investigations into Trump.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yes. Norway is one of them. Most of the European countries, notably absent though. Russia is not. Israel is not. You know, my. I wonder why. But yeah, even countries, I think like North Macedonia, countries you don't normally think about have launched investigations. So I think they will have access to unredacted versions of this. The truth will come out. And by the way, that whole thing of redactions, Jack, my position is it's not incompetence. Yes, it is incompetence on the leadership of the FBI, Patel and others, but I actually think it was very clever for somebody down in the middle tier or lower tier to say, let me just redact it this way, knowing that they could just copy paste into some other app and see the unredacted version. I think it was brilliant that that redaction process got through the review process. And so there are unredacted versions of these documents out there. I think that was brilliant on the part of somebody. He or she could not just out and out just, release everything. But through this partial process, the unredacted versions of these 3 million pages are now available. So I actually think somebody, slipped a good thing through the process. And to that person, whoever that person is, I applaud thee, and I think the world will eventually appreciate you for doing this.
Well, I think I can confirm that. I also received 2 addresses where I can retrieve the whole unredacted versions. So it is out in the air and it
Yep.
cannot be stopped anymore. Some people have backed up it already.
Yep. See, here's the alarming thing. It is worse than I had imagined, right? Every week it gets worse. And this is still not all of it. There's still at least 3 million pages, reportedly, that are not released. And those must be worse than what's already out there. Otherwise, why wouldn't they have been released
That's
yet?
right.
So things are going to get much worse. And how could it be much worse? He's already, shown there's a lot of evidence already. He's a serial child rapist. He's also a serial child murderer. How can it get much worse?
What's amusing is John Stewart did a search and found his name in those files.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was because he was referenced by somebody. It's not
He
that he
was
was
referenced
there.
by somebody else. Yeah.
By the way, I'm actually surprised and disappointed that Bill Gates' name appears as often as it has. Now, I've seen a lot of pictures of Epstein and Ghislaine and Bill Gates and the Clintons together. I don't know whether those are fake pictures or actual pictures. So I have to do some research on this one. But the pictures, see, the problem is immediate misinformation complicates this whole process. That's why we need a DKR. That's why we need complex, systems that can weigh the
Yep.
veracity of things. Jack, you and I know this. Heiner, Kayla, Eric, we've all talked about this in the past. But that's the only way. That's why, establishing the truth of something is 10 or 100 times more expensive than just spreading lies. But it seems to be necessary today. But some of those pictures, either photoshopped or other, show, I saw one with Epstein, the two Clintons, Bill Gates, people in the background dressed in red robes in a very dark place with what appeared like corpses on the floor. And it just takes way too much effort to try and, not too much effort, too much for me to have time to have done already to establish the veracity of that picture. Eventually, of course, I will do that research. But I just saw it, I think, yesterday.
Well, you see, I'm pondering a lot about this issue with the Queen or Crown Queen of Norway. I think they have been blown up a thing to set out a, how do you say, a stinkbomb.
Wait, how is she implicated? I've not come across this. I don't know what you're referring to. Sorry, let me slow you down. What
The
is the implication?
Queen Mette from Oslo, from Norway, I'm talking about.
Yes.
From the little I heard, it looks like they blow up minor things to hide the big things.
What's the allegation?
That she had contact with Epstein.
Okay, so contact all by itself is not criminal. I understand that. Yes, it is suspicious. Yes, I agree. But what form of contact?
Well, I wasn't there. But as I'm just telling you, there are people who are misusing this information and blowing up the wrong ones to distract. We call it Stinkbombe.
Jack, Kayla, have you heard this? I've not heard this.
Well, I didn't hear that particular thing that Heiner's, but we do know that these obfuscation or stink bombing tactics are pretty common.
Yeah, that's why we have to maintain focus. We can't pop the stack completely.
As an aside, I just put a link to a YouTube that was taken 55 years ago of me test flying some guy's airplane. Same kind of airplane I built.
Cool. I'm assuming that's a segue to a different topic and that it's not related to the previous topic.
No, I just thought I would put it in for your amusement.
Okay. All right.
Something I used to do and do very well, and now I don't.
Okay. I ran across, if I may return to the previous topic, Heiner mentioned that there are people who've actually taken that data and backed it up. And come across two links. One is a site that looks almost exactly like Gmail, but it's like Epstein's inbox of emails. It's got like
Yes, it's
10,
called
10
It's called Gmail.
yeah, I couldn't
It's all
remember
over.
let's see, what is that?
Oh, I heard about that. I didn't go there or look at it, but I heard about it.
Gmail.world. There we go. Gmail.world. So you can actually go there, and of course, if you know how to use Gmail, you know how to look through this. It's only got like 8 or 9,000 emails, maybe. I don't know. Apparently so. But look at these references: Ehud Barak, Elon Musk, Ghislaine Maxwell, Peter Thiel, Larry Summers, Steve Bannon. Names I don't recognize like Masha Bucher, Michael Wolff, Bill Gates, Noam Chomsky. Chomsky is a disappointment. I thought he was better than this. Alan Dershowitz, Al Secco, Kimball Musk. I don't even know who that is. Karina Shuliak, Deepak Chopra.
That
Such an
that one
enlightened
is
guy.
hard to buy.
Such an enlightened guy. Uh, let's see, Marvin Minsky. That's a disappointment.
No,
Although
I knew
Marvin
about him.
Minsky was already mentioned by Virginia Giuffre in her book
Yeah, yeah.
3 times. 3 times it happened. And Minsky was already what in his 70s, and she was what 16, 15, 17, something like that. Ah, uh, Jean-Luc Brunel, obviously, many stories have been told by him about him. See who else? Mark Epstein, his brother. Anyway, yeah, you can look at all of these and you can do searches. So that's one. The other, by the way, Jack, is a network graph. So it's got Epstein at the center, and it's got all of the spokes
Yeah,
connecting
yeah.
to his connections. You can click on Bill Gates, and you look at who else was connected to Bill Gates, in this whole diagram. You and I have seen these diagrams for decades, but now it's actually something you can go browse through to go see,
Yep, yep.
how these connections work. And unfortunately, I didn't get to do it, but man, the first of those that I built was way back in the late 80s. Late 80s. Automatically constructed, by the way,
Yep.
by analyzing text. Anyway, too bad I worked for classified projects. So go to gmail.world if you want to be
I'm there now.
that curious.
Um, there's
I got to find the other one, the network diagram one. I just rebooted my machine, so I haven't. It was that rebooting, by the way, that made me think about the coevolution topic with you that we discussed, Jack. Okay, all right. Fire up browser, which
so
should
where
have
is
it.
the network graph? Who
I'm
made
trying to
that?
find it. I'm trying to find it, Jack. Let me see. Oh, a third one that I did not mention, which actually has all the photos from the first drop. It's called Epstein Files Browser. Epstein-files.browser.vercel.app. I'll put that in the.
Well, they're also at jmail.world/photos.
Okay, well, this is one that preceded that. So I just put that link in here. Oops, no, that's not the right one. That's the one for the Zoom session. Let me do a copy. Let me see if it's there now.
What I want to know is how did any single man get so powerful?
He was a operative for the Israeli intelligence and also for CIA. That's how he got all this money. So he had leverage on people. By the way, you know that Les Wexner, the guy who ran Victoria's Secret, had a, I don't know, 50, $100 million mansion in New York, whatever. And you don't get to be that rich without taking care of your assets and your money, right? Well, he sold that place to Jeffrey Epstein for $1. And that's the place that Epstein conducted all of his New York affairs from. How many people do you know would actually take a 10, 20, 50, $100 million place and say, you're such a good friend of mine, let me just sell it to you for $1? Does that happen? Possibly. I think it's unlikely.
At the photos site, all of the pictures that probably have victims involved are redacted.
Scroll all the way to the end, Jack. Those are some people pictures are way at the end. Well, it's not way at the end. There's still documents there. But if you just scroll backwards from the end, you'll get to the people pictures sooner. You might also be able to. Oh, there's the drop down where you can actually look at references. So, for example, Bill Clinton 25 times. So you can drop down on Bill Clinton, and you can see 25 pictures of Bill Clinton. Oh, and look, there's Michael Jackson. And there's
Yeah.
Mick Jagger. Yeah. Now in that repo, let's see. Yeah, there's very few of Bill Gates in that repo. Brett Ratner, the guy that directed Melania's documentary. He's part of that network. That's why no other director would do that project, for Bezos, and that's why they got Brett Ratner to do it because he was already part of this network. Walter Cronkite is in here.
What?
Yes, there's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine pictures of Walter Cronkite referenced in this repo. Could be a different Walter Cronkite, but I kind of doubt it. Daniel Hillis is in here. Jack?
Oh, now there's a surprise.
Yes. Too bad. Benoit Mandelbrot is in here.
He got them all, didn't he?
Jeez. 3 pictures, two of them with Epstein in the same picture.
There's the one with um, the guy
David
that
Copperfield.
the guy that runs the airline and
Are you talking about Virgin?
yeah, Virgin.
Yeah. Well, his name begins with B, right? I forget what his name is. Yeah, he's got all kinds of Virgin labeled businesses. Virgin Galactic.
Yep.
Oh, the disgust is inexpressible.
I think you are reading the wrong file. I heard nothing to see there.
Well, then let me just drop the whole topic. Sorry.
Well, maybe wrong universe.
I am living in the wrong universe, Heiner.
Oh dear.
Nah, we're put here for a reason.
That is Walter Cronkite, the real one.
Yeah, I was joking when I made that earlier clip. I'll find the network diagram link, Jack. I just can't easily find it because I get so distracted by looking at these pictures.
Are you getting red ears?
No, I've got warm ears because I've got my headphones on. Why, are you talking about me, Hunter?
Yes.
Really?
I
With
wonder.
someone else?
I wonder how you cope with that and then believe you are a woman.
What?
And then imagine you are a woman and have to see that.
Wait,
And
I don't
have
get it.
to redact it and make it all black. I mean, these poor people in foreign countries doing the black painting. You see, I had it in Arabia in the mid 70s that all the uh, newspapers coming in were painted with black, with everything normal people on the newsstand were not allowed to see. So there were hundreds and thousands and more of people having to always with paint. There were no computers there to really paint out the certain areas. I mean, imagine that work. And it's there since I can think 50 years.
How do you do that to newspapers?
Yeah,
Aren't
well,
there
they
tens of
did it.
thousands of printings?
I think Jack has seen that in Jeddah or in Riyadh or in Arabia. I was there in the mid 70s and it was a gigantic, I think you say, gargantuan, a very, very big task force having to do it for the newspaper of the day being sold in the street. So you see, 10,000 copies, 50,000. Not many people were reading those days, but I think 50,000 newspapers of the same day to be color black, all at the same place. You can imagine how much work that is. For that, now we have AI.
I still don't understand what you're talking about.
That
But
in the even 50 years ago, it was common to paint black everything but you don't want to hear as an emperor, as a king. I spoke about the example of Saudi Arabia in mid 70s.
okay, I'll seek references for that.
It's just a matter of how much workforce you want to keep busy. Give them a job.
Okay, so what is this distracting us from?
Well, as you have been yelling about for some time, um, Trump in the midterms. That's one of the big ones.
Yeah, did you see his announcement that he's going to quote unquote nationalize elections?
Yeah, yeah. Well, as every legal scholar I know of says that the Constitution gets in his way.
You don't need to
Now,
be a legal scholar to know that that's inappropriate.
yep. but I do believe that the court challenges will come down fast and swift on that one. And then it's the test of the Supreme Court. You saw that the Supreme Court did, in fact, allow California to have its gerrymandering.
I'm hoping that even that Supreme Court has seen enough.
Well,
Because
me
if
too.
they were, yeah, if they were still in Trump's pocket, they would have disallowed this whole California thing, right?
Well, one person commentator on NPR the other day said that effectively what they said is the Supreme Court just greenlighted gerrymandering anytime you want. It used to be that gerrymandering would happen at the census, but now you can just do it whenever you feel like it.
Well, then game's on.
Game's on, yes.
Sad. But elections are a state affair anyway. Why does the Supreme Court get to say anything? National presidential elections are state affairs. So if the game is on, we can gerrymander New York, LA, Washington, all the blue states, and we can create districts of 70,000 people. Um, and we can 10x, the representation of more community oriented thinking. I'm going to bring up some better ideas. Let me do this. This is, I mean, it's necessary, but we got to pull ourselves out of this morass. Okay, where are my good ideas? Do I have any good ideas? Here we go. Oh, one idea I wanted to ask you guys is going back a couple thousand years. I thought this following idea, which I'm about to quote, was incomplete. But then again, I just want to see what you guys think. And it's a quote by Plato. And he uses the pronoun men, but I'm going to say people. There are three classes of people: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. Is it that simple? Are there only three types of people? Lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain.
I never thought about it much. Lovers of wisdom is pretty broad.
Yeah, I wanted to bounce this around a little bit. Could you then replace the word wisdom with truth?
Uh, truth would fit. Knowledge would fit. There's a bunch of substitutes.
Yes. What would be the substitutes for lovers of honor? Would that include things like ethics, about
Yep.
community,
Yep.
about compassion, about service?
Yes, those fit.
Yeah, I like that. But those are questions. And then lovers of gain. And by that I infer that he's talking about profit, about greed, about reputation, about influence, about power, about money. That's what gain seems to mean.
That's probably what he meant.
Yeah. So let me
You
recap.
see,
Yeah, go ahead, Heiner.
you see, with my crowd ears, I understood lovers of game, like gaming, and that also makes a lot of me. But then you came back to gain.
Mm-hmm. Heiner, you've come across this reference to Plato before?
I think it was with Stoic somewhere, but I
Yeah, I
just
think so.
acknowledged it.
Does that capture everyone, or is there a whole category is missing? Where is love in all of this?
Let's go all the way back to Plato's time. What would love have meant in those days?
Well, this quote uses the love in the form of lovers, lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, lovers of gain. So if indeed it was translated properly, the concept of love was in there somewhere, probably implying embrace of some kind, adoption, alignment, passion, identity.
Well, in my mind, I've experienced um, African cultures in which there were usually 4 or 5 wives. And I know, for example, that my experience with that was the wives lived in separate villages, and the husband would work in a different village and then periodically visit them with money to help pay for the children. But there wasn't anything like the kinds of relationships we experience.
So are you
So why
implying it
would
was
I?
more an economic arrangement?
Uh, you could say economic arrangement, but you could also say that it was fundamentally Darwinian evolution at work, people propagating.
In other
And
words, the successful ones get to propagate their seed,
well,
quote
in the
unquote.
African plain, there was the silverback gorilla that got all the girls. And we still see animals, the males fighting for dominance to get all the females. And we see a little bit of that in modern athletics, jocks. So I have no reason to say that the Greeks were necessarily any different. We don't know. I don't know, but I'm not a Greek scholar.
But you notice even in the language and the model and the perspective, it's about women and females as property.
Yes. But it was that way always, except in some odd cultures where they were matriarchal. I don't know much about them, but they exist.
The most prominent one I know of is in southern China. So is love a privilege?
Is what?
A privilege. In other words, if you're just barely eking out survival, and you're not even sure you're going to have food the next day, does love mean anything?
Well, to, modern teenagers, um, love is one of those luxuries that you chase like mad when the hormones kick in.
Is it love or is
But
it lust?
it's lust, of course, but um, given time, given time, it turns into it turns into genuine caring and a whole bunch of other dimensions. By the way, kids, it's time for me to go.
Let me just say one more snippet before you go. I have heard, although I have not lived this directly, that in certain cultures with arranged marriages, the parents' guidance to the couple is over time, you will learn to love each other.
Yeah, that's the guidance that I was aware of. I actually dated a woman who was half French and half Egyptian, stunningly beautiful. But she was angry. And the reason she was angry is she had just broken off unarranged marriage. She wanted out. And I think the reason I walked away from her was she was talking about buying $10,000 dresses and $20,000 purses, and I said, I can't afford this woman. There's, I don't know how this is going to work. So
Wait, so the implication was you were to provide all that money?
well, that's what I was getting from her, but it it I'm not saying I would ever do that because I wouldn't. I can't. But I just thought that her values were compensating for a life of misery, but they were, through my lens, misplaced. She should now take a new positive mental attitude and go chase rainbows and have more fun. At any rate, better run. Ta-ta.
Later, Jack. Maybe we'll see
Bye,
you
Jack.
tomorrow.
Bye.
So
I
I was also going to ask, since the last word Jack uttered was fun, where is fun in the three? Does fun fit in wisdom or in honor or in gain?
well, the question is deeper. Where is fun in lust?
Yeah. The next question. Well, if you want to be Darwinian about it, gain could include that, because gain means, hey, you get to build a family and you get to provide for your family, and hopefully your family grows. That's a form of gain.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, this question goes much deeper. It is about orgasm and orgasm. So the work in the fun and please and having love. I mean, real love. Um, and that we male and the female are totally different. We can have it one, and then we need a break, run maybe somewhere else, and have this thing again. And women are, if they are ready and like it, can have it perpetually or many, many, many times, and do it like not just lust, but really like a permanent thing. And that is what male really got afraid of.
Is this true? I know this is stereotypical, but is it true?
Not true. Okay. Maybe it's different.
No, I'm not saying it's false. I'm just asking the question. Is it true?
Well, we cannot answer.
Well, the way the question was formed, it seemed like you were giving it some credibility. And I think, there's been a lot in anthropology that suggests that, but I'm thinking that that may not be taken to be true because female voices have not been heard through all of this. It's mostly male voices spreading these stereotypes. I actually, I can't say incredulous because I'm not plugged into the culture, but it is very uncommon for me in my life to have conversations that resemble the conversations I see being posted on TikTok. Just people just going up to random strangers and saying, "What's your body count? What's your favorite position?" You know, and even more explicit questions. I'm not used to doing that with random people I just normally encounter. It's probably not common, but these are the ones that get posted and get likes. And some of the answers that you see being posted don't fit the stereotype that I was asking about. But if you look at it biologically, I think Heiner, there is a certain truth to it. If you take a look at the commitment that is sometimes necessitated by an act of sex, the female's commitment is way longer than a male's commitment to that act. So they have to be looking out for certain precautions and safety measures. That's, obvious, even if you just look at only the biology. By the way, where is fun? I think you were asking that, right, Heiner? You were talking about fun, and I was asking where it is in this categorization of wisdom honor, and gain. The reason I bring that up again is I think I mentioned the video where I mentioned Linus Torvalds. He was asked about his meaning of life. And I guess for him, from what I was able to take from the interview, it was to have fun. Is that all there is? I think fun is also a privilege. If you're trying to eke out survival, do you have time for fun? Do you have resources for fun? Have you ever had fun? If you're just barely trying to survive. So I think this notion of fun, of leisure time, of spare time, it's a relatively recent phenomenon in the life of humans, the history of humans. And I think the advent of fun, the advent of leisure time, the advent of being able to do stuff that doesn't necessarily enhance your survival or that of your species is distracting us. You know, like people just want to Netflix and chill now. And too much of our population is living life that way because survival the next day is taken for granted. And now the people who are actually trying to help the rest of us survive, people trying to, you know, give us better transportation systems, healthier food, healthier communities, better governance systems, those people, at least in this country, are not being given a voice. In fact, they're being mocked and their influence is being diminished. And that's going to lead to the downfall of this society. And if it spreads, it's going to lead to the downfall of humanity. And that's because we did too good a job of ensuring survival so that people have too much spare time. They're not concerned about their own survival because they assume it. So they don't work to enhance it for the rest of us. So now if you got 80 or 90% of the people thinking this way, that's going to reflect the values of that society. The Super Bowl gets a lot more attention than the latest, battery technology. Billions are going to get spent on athletic events where smart ideas from some smart 19-year-old can't even get $30,000 or $50,000 to do a nice prototype. Not in this society. And athletes being paid $30-100 million. I mean, we talk about how obscene it is to have billionaires, but to me, athletes getting that much money, that's on the way towards that obscenity. Now, I will acknowledge there are people who are being paid that much in athletics for then turning around and building homes for the homeless, or pay for lunches for schools, or building hospitals and healthcare clinics. Yes, there are those stories. But why should that be the exception? Yeah, I know I'm rambling, but in order to shut up, you guys have to say something. Shut me up, I mean. Just for the record, I've also been thinking more about eventual transparency and ethics and notoriety and populism and recording the truth. I think eventual transparency is an idea that needs to be fleshed out. And then, of course, along with that is to rebuild society around a core that values education and truth and teachers. And so that we can actually evolve beyond the bad form of democracy that is currently in the United States. We've shown how easily it's corruptible and has been corrupted.
I need to leave.
I'm glad you're able to join us for some part of this, Heiner. Any last thoughts or reflections?
No, my last come later.
Are you going to be able to join us tomorrow?
Inshallah. We always said IBM. Inshallah, Bukra Mumkin. You never know. Or Allah Jane. Only God knows. Nobody else. No human, no machine.
You have some influence.
So at least I have an idea that there's lots of unknowables, not just unknowns.
Yeah.
So, a bientôt. Are we
Okay,
alone,
Heiner.
or who is still in the room?
I think Kayla is still here.
Yep, I'm still here. Bye, Heiner.
Later, Heiner.
Well, I listen. I didn't hear Kayla for long, but I mute myself.
Okay. Kayla?
Yes.
I think it's just you and me. I think Heiner has receded into muteness. Muteness.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I didn't really hear your check-in in the beginning. What have you been up to?
Oh, the check-in is actually something that gives me hope. And that is that for some reason, I have been thinking about this Engelbartian idea of coevolution. And the coevolution idea is if you take it at its very simplest components, when we build better technology, that helps humans do better things. And as we do things better and better things, we think of new ways to improve that technology. And so humans improve technology, technology improves humans, and that's a kind of a bidirectional compounding effect that should help us get better and better and better, faster and faster and faster, right? That's the theory. But we talk about a theory like that, which is beautiful. And we could think of specific examples where one thing happens, like, a human could develop a better technology, like somebody could invent a vaccine for something. Or technology can help humans, as in, we can now have these little robot legs that help the paraplegics be able to walk and do things they never have been able to do. By the way, have you seen those videos from China? Those are
Oh
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, my
It's just
sister and I are
astonishing.
joking about how we can finally invest in something that'll allow us to do things like hiking
Yeah,
places where we probably
right.
wouldn't be able to.
So I'm looking for examples of stories where it's not piecemeal. I want to be able to take a situation where you got the coevolution happening in both directions. They probably exist, but I've not actually like curated them and made them, packaged them in such a way that they could be retold. So I'm thinking about how to curate, and express, you know, whole stacks of coevolution stories. Because I think that would inspire me. And I think that would, hopefully be an idea whose time has come, even though Doug expressed it decades ago. And there's probably other people who have expressed similar ideas as well. But that's what got me thinking because I rebooted my machine. I think, well, of all the ways that the machine has to wake up, I can find biomimicry examples in human beings or ecosystems waking up. And then when we have to do things better, we can also see how technology does things, and we can say maybe I could, adopt that practice. So there's a seed of a coevolution story there, and that's what got me to thinking about that topic. And I was expressing that to Jack. It's clearly very not well formulated right now, but it's just a seeds of an idea and possibly a small paper or a small talk/rant that I could develop.
Nice.
So Jack and I were going on and on about that until you arrived. By the way, I did notice that Jack was kind of pushing on you to check in, so I was trying to stave that off a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why he likes to do that.
Well, I think it's like a lot of these other people in groups, they like to be inclusive. And they they want to make sure that people's voices are heard. But if you're a little too insistent on that, then that's going, in my opinion, beyond where the person has already said, "Hey, nothing to say for now," right?
Yeah,
As I heard you say.
yeah. That's a very American thing to do too. I noticed
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
people in this culture love to do that.
yeah. I do think it's well-meaning, but it does come across as, again, a little bit too my values need to be expressed at the moment, and my values include inclusion.
Yeah.
No slight on Jack. I think Jack is very well-meaning,
Yeah.
but yeah, as you say, it is a practice in this culture.
Yeah. You might hear some water, by the way.
Are you
I've got to.
thinking?
No. I'm just washing a bathtub. I haven't washed this bathtub in a while, but nobody really uses this bathtub
Well, the
pretty much.
Zoom noise removal seems to be doing a good job because I'm not hearing any of that water flow.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah. I think it does a good
Oh.
job because sometimes I go pee and you don't seem to notice. Or maybe you just don't say anything.
No, I don't notice it.
I'm on audio, but I'm going to go get my second cup. This time it'll be mushroom coffee.
Oh, okay. How come you just don't put your coffee maker in closer or upstairs?
Because I like taking the stairs. It at least makes me go up and down the stairs. So when I put the
Oh,
food
that's right.
downstairs and I'm here, I go up and down the stairs at least, I don't know, 5 to 10 times a day. And, I am pretty good now about going on my 2 mile walk. I'm doing that at least 60 or 65% of the time.
Oh,
But it
good.
just adds a little bit more to my need to move, and not be quite so calcified.
I want to thank you, Sam. It's a good idea. I also need my breakfast coffee. And I just had this image, me at my 60th birthday, running 3 floors. On 2 floors, having the Zooms open,
Mm-hmm.
and on one floor, we were doing the cooking. Did I send you the Zoom? Later, the hybrid we only have in different videos and not really continuously. But the Zoom I could make freely available for you, not for the public.
I don't think you've sent me that. So yeah, whatever you want to share, I'd be curious
I
to take
can
a look
send
at.
it to Kayla and you. Why not?
Okay. By the way, I want to apologize in advance. The lights just flickered twice. So if I drop off, then something happened to the power here. It appears to be working now, but it did flicker twice. I don't know what happened.
Okay, make sure you get empowered.
Uh, that's another big topic. I think I'm my own worst enemy. I do a lot of self-sabotage. So yes, I do need to get empowered. So Heiner, I'm hoping that it was because you thought it was a good thing that I put the coffee downstairs and the refrigerator downstairs. So even if I want a snack, I have to go downstairs and grab, whatever it is that I want as a snack, whether it's what
Well,
I
you're a
got.
lucky one. I only have one large apartment or one room.
You see this? I don't know. I guess you can't see this. Here's my
No,
little
we
protein.
we one day make a home story, but not for the public. And now I say bye bye.
Okay. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiederhören. This is my 30-gram protein shake that I get from Costco.
Nice.
My dad was the one that got me onto these protein shakes. I didn't used to do it, but he said kind of lets him make sure he's got the minimum things when he's too lazy to do something else.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I should probably make a Costco run today. I was trying to do it ever since Thursday, but man, did I need some sleep. I couldn't go last
Oh,
night.
you didn't you aren't sleeping well again.
Uh, I was sleeping too well. I took a nap in the afternoon. When I'm here on the keyboard, probably out of 3 or 4 days a week, when I'm up here on the keyboard, I fall asleep at the
Uh-huh.
keyboard.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, I'm probably not sleeping enough at night.
Yeah. What's causing you to not sleep so much?
Well, I'm doing a lot of studying. I'm doing a lot of practice trades. Um, I'm actually watching no video. I'm not watching movies. I'm not watching, well, actually, that's not true. I watch short little YouTube things, but I never watch like a full movie or a full TV series. But I do spend time listening to audiobooks. And I do spend time, like, for example, that 4 hour interview of Sasha Riley. I don't know if you heard any part of it or any of the snippets that have been excerpted from it.
Yeah,
Man, that was ugly. Man, that was horrible.
yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it exists, but there's stuff in there that's really, really bad. And did you hear me describe this photo that might be Photoshopped, but I think you did. It was about Epstein and the Clintons and Bill Gates
Yeah.
in a room with what looked like wrapped corpses on the floor.
Oh.
Now, I'm not saying it's true, but man, that's a dark scene. You know, it's taken me long enough to get things arranged here that I don't think I'm going to be able to leave the country, even if I could do things well. I don't think I'll be leaving before late June because June is my 50th high school reunion, which I've been helped with a little bit of planning.
Oh,
And it
nice.
doesn't make sense for me to leave like March and April and then come back quite so soon for that reunion.
Uh-huh.
So I'm now targeting end of June to be done with all of the property arrangements and finances so that I can actually start traveling somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, because I do want to attend my 50th high school reunion.
Yeah. Well, June is just around the corner. I don't know
It
about you,
is.
but time actually goes pretty fast for me.
Well, I think that's only what, 4 months from now? And 4 months ago was just what, October? October doesn't seem that far back.
Yeah.
Although in retrospect, I didn't actually find my renter until late November. So it's not an obscenely long time, but it's not such a short time either.
Right.
But think about it, in June, Monica will have graduated, children up her college. Your kids will be up to school. Who knows what other chaos. And anybody's investment, especially 401ks, any retirement income, is devaluing every day as we speak because of the
Is what?
damage it's being devalued
Yeah.
because of the damage, the idiot is doing to our country. And therefore, our currency, the US dollar, is weakening against everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, did you hear any of that?
Yes, I did. About currency and things weakening. Yeah, that's what
Oh,
you
you
were
didn't
saying.
hear anything else? Okay, good. You didn't hear me go tinkle and flush? Okay, that's
No.
good. Noise removal is pretty good. You know what happened in early days of like Microsoft Teams and Zoom? That was
Uh
happening too often. Like people would just be on
huh.
their earbuds and go into the bathroom and pee, and if they weren't on mute, people would hear that.
Yeah.
So I think Zoom especially made an effort to filter that out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, actually, it happened multiple times. I've heard it multiple times. So is there another competition coming up soon?
In March.
That's also right around the corner.
Yeah. And then May. There's another one in May.
How's the relationship with the choreographer slash dance instructor slash
Uh,
dance czar?
it's the same.
Oh, speaking of which, how
Uh-huh.
are you and Melissa getting along?
Uh, that's the same too. Yeah. You know, the
What?
smarter I get, the more disappointed I am in humanity, just in people in general. The more it's just like is a the more I want to like live remote and you know just hang out with dogs or something.
It's kind of a curse.
Yeah, yeah, I know it is definitely. So, but I'm still applying to jobs and still trying to find a way out.
Well, that was my next question. Is you had some pretty promising leads, like at least one or two.
Yeah, I'm so sad. One of them just did not choose me, and I don't know why. It said something about we're looking for somebody who, or the other candidate was just a little bit more aligned with what they do. So that can mean anything, you know. That would be an excuse that I would use. And then I discovered that I submitted an application to a place that was actually, I was, if anything, maybe overqualified for. And I'm surprised that they didn't even consider to even interview me
Hmm.
because the job is still open. And then I discovered that I actually, when I applied, failed to put my current place of employment. And so it just looked like I had no experience.
Hmm.
And, that was my fault. So, um, yeah, but that one was more in person. And I know I don't really want an in person position.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, it's a little rough out there for my position. You know, it's a director position, of course, but then a part of me is just like, maybe I should just go for something that's not so high of responsibilities. But then I can't do that because number one, it doesn't pay well. But number two, I'm overqualified, and people don't want somebody who's overqualified.
Hmm.
You know, you know how you always say that it seems like I always get good jobs. Well,
Yeah,
might be the
every day you
time.
turn around and you got two other jobs in your lap.
This might be the time in my life where it might be on the downswing instead of the upswing. So I'm just trying to regulate my emotions and deal with certain things and try to be a little bit more positive, but it's all difficult. So
Well, let me know if you need an ear, when we're not on the record.
but no, it's the same thing, third
Okay.
first world problems, just a bunch of complaining, you know. So I'm
I
also
think
being
there's
a bit,
nothing wrong with complaining so long as you can compartmentalize it and it's not your entire life. I
no.
do a lot of complaining, as you know, on these sessions.
I know. You just like it. I just don't understand how some people just can't do even the basic things. Um, I was watching a very short video. It was a great video, 3.5 minutes maybe,
Hmm.
of why students like literacy is at an all-time low. And they basically said that kids just fail to understand content and to be able to summarize that content, much less content, like focus on it. And one of the big reasons is a lot of schools here have lowered their standards tremendously. And this has been kind of a conversational topic, but they did say that there are two states, Louisiana and I think Missouri, I believe, that their actual reading levels are higher. And it was due to the fact that they finally said, we're not going to pass third graders to fourth grade unless they meet this reading requirement. And so they put their efforts on, making sure that students can focus on reading and understand the content.
Wait, which two
Um,
states?
Louisiana and I think Missouri, it starts with an M. But anyways, it just like makes me kind of laugh because it's not just the kids, it's the adults. My own boss is not able to read an entire email because I'm having to tell her again that it's in the email. I'm having to tell her again that's what I meant when I said this sentence, you know?
Mhm.
And it's just people online in general, just the quality of just understanding something is so low that it makes me just go, God, I wish I was stupid. Like, too bad I'm not that dumb. It wouldn't bother me, but it bothers me because I hold my children to these higher standards. I will tell Max, you have to understand your content. You have to, you know, um, that way you don't get bamboozled. That way you can, go further in life. Then a part of me is just like, why don't we just all remain stupid? It'd be a lot easier, I guess, since like the quality out there is not good. Um, so those are the things that I've been thinking of, and I try not to complain about, but here I am complaining about them.
Well, you're resigning your kids to a life of unhappiness because they're going to look around them and they're going to say, "Why are other people so stupid?"
And then when I point this out, like in a way that like to me makes a lot of sense, like either people don't understand something, don't understand it, or they decide to change topics.
Yeah.
So I just don't get it. There's a lot of meaningless things and it just like bothers me. And I'm discovering too there's a lot of meaningless things in what people that are close to me have promised, or I thought they were close to me. Um, I'll give you an example. My cousin, during a birthday party, I was at a birthday party, and my cousin had said, hey, you should go over to my dad's house because he cooks a lot and just come over and have some dinner with us. There's too much food. And his dad is my dad's youngest brother. He is probably one of the only surviving relatives on my dad's side.
Hmm.
So I contacted my uncle and I contacted him to invite him to my event because he's a part of a couple of associations here and he talked to me about possibly being a part of those associations before. So I contacted him and invited him to the event, told him to invite his associations to the event. And then I said, oh, yeah, by the way, and Jonathan, my cousin, said that you cook a lot of food. And I said he had invited us, like me and Max, to come and have dinner with you guys. And my uncle's laughing and saying, oh, yeah. And in fact, I heard my uncle at a Christmas party tell my son, tell Max, like, hey, if you want me to cook for you, just let me know and I will.
Mm-hmm.
And so my uncle just like was all like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just kind of, dismissed it. And then I said, yeah, one of these days we'll go over and have dinner with you. And he goes, just invite your brother and your mom. And you know what? Just wait for somebody to come and blah, 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 blah. So it was basically not an invitation. It was just things that what I interpreted as like, I don't think my cousin, I think he was genuine, but my uncle is not as welcoming as I thought he might be. And
Mm-hmm.
it was very disappointing because our dad just passed. His
Mm-hmm.
brother just passed, the last of all three brothers. And wouldn't that be a time for you to put some things aside for the people that you love, to be able to, come closer to them? And
Yeah.
so, the things that I had mentioned in my speech during my dad's funeral, I tried to be as liberal as possible. And I tried to say that my dad actually turned around in the past 10 years and like became very loving and forgiving and went down that path. And, but nobody seemed to get it. So I was like, okay, well, if it's going to be like that, I guess it's always been like that. So shame on me for thinking something might be different.
Was that not how the rest of the family thought of your dad?
I guess not. I suppose not. I guess,
Well, look, I still think it was important and very good that you said stuff like that because I think part of well, this is just me talking now. Sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of what happens at these memorial services is you get glimpses of the person that you yourself didn't actually see. So I think those other people now get a glimpse of your dad from your perspective they didn't previously see. Now, whether or not they appreciate it or not, that's what you're talking about is that they didn't appreciate it. But I appreciate those things because remember when Barry passed away? I heard things about Barry that I didn't know before. And it happens
yes,
at every memorial service. So I
yes,
think it's very
absolutely.
good for you to have said what you did and that other people know that you had a different experience of your dad than those other people might have had. Sorry to go on
Yeah,
and on, but I think it's a good thing.
yes. Yeah, no, I think it's a good thing. What makes me sad is too bad you can't really apply that to your life. Too
Yes.
bad
Yeah.
people aren't fucking stuck. Like, you know, um,
Yeah.
if something as profound as a family member's death
Mm-hmm.
came, and I'm just like, wow, that's a powerful message.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm tooting my own horn. Um, I have like the ability to be able to utilize that, or at least try to, or at least begin to utilize that to something that makes my life a lot better. Those lessons that aren't so loud become loud,
Yeah.
but it's not for everybody. And same with my ex. Oh my God. Like, I'm telling you, this has like been a week of just disappointments from my boss to my uncle to my ex. We went to um, the valley to see to get Max's uh, his passport. Obviously, my ex has to be there because he is under Max is under 16 years old, and so we arrived there. Um, and Kenny doesn't see Max all the time. He hasn't seen him in weeks. He hasn't talked to him in weeks. I was actually looking forward to it so that they could actually have a few words exchanged between them because I still think it's very healthy to have two parents like care about you, okay? To have
Yes.
two healthy parents care about you. But again, my bad for thinking that he might be a little healthier. I mean, hey, maybe he is. He did not say one word to our son. Not one. Maybe a
Jeez.
hello. That's it. Sat next to
Jeez.
him. We were there for an hour. Not one fucking word. You know, and the good part is like Max is cool. Like he's just like, oh. Yeah, I even asked him, I'm all like, do you want to see your dad? Do you want to spend time with your dad? Do you want to go over to like, he's like, no. It's kind of like, ew, you know? But how sad is that? That your son has to have a like a different mental outlook because you cannot be the adult, the man, you know, to be able to like even spark some type of genuine conversation. Like you cannot put your shitty day aside, your shitty thoughts aside, you know, to even ask how have you been and just stick to that like anything. And this is again just you know, it's so funny because my friend was telling me like she just had a death in her family too, like a brother-in-law died, and she said she feels really bad. And then I don't know what overcame me, but I told her, I said, you know, don't think this is a bad thing, okay? You know, I'm really sad that your family member has died. And it's but sometimes I'm like, you lucky fucking bastards. Like Barry died, my dad died, and sometimes I look at them and I'm like, you motherfuckers, you left this earth and it's shitty right now. Like the politics is shitty and people are shitty. And so my friend started laughing and I said, no, don't take that wrong. It's not like I want to die. It's not like I want anyone to like close to me and that I love to die, but life can be pretty shitty. Anyway, that's why I didn't talk today. Did you hear any of that? Are you even online?
No, I heard it all.
Okay.
I got a sense of that when you said no, there's nothing to say.
Yeah.
And that's why I tried to rein Jack back a little bit when he said, come on, Kayla, you got to say something.
And you know what I thought? Oh God, typical white guy from America needs to
I
learn how to
know
shut
that's
the
what
fuck
I
up.
know that's
But
what you were thinking. Well, I
but
suspected that was what you were thinking.
it is just the least of my disappointments. If anything, I'm like, oh, okay. I definitely won't say anything now. So
Uh, I
I don't know
find
why
that
it's
it's hard for me to hold back.
yeah. I just don't understand why something I don't know, maybe it's difficult for people, but just fucking do it. Do it. If your life sucks, go. You know? If if you've got some toxic person like, you know, that you're dealing with, fucking get a divorce. You know, again, very easy for me to say, very difficult because I've already been through it. You know, you hate your job, go find one. Go find another one. Like if your family sucks, don't hang out with them. That's where I'm at. Well, not all of them.
Well, heck, when you were talking about Kenny, he doesn't
Uh,
even have to go into the genuine, interest or whatever. At least he could do is just make idle small talk.
yeah. You know, and so this is like where like I have to be a like have to be on top of it because someone's got to have like someone's got to be mature. You know, and that's why I was telling Max. I said, this is why I can't really leave California because Damien's living with him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I want to be there for him. Being there for somebody you love is really being present for somebody that you love.
Is Damien really okay with that? Because he's clearly not decided to move in with you yet.
Well, you know, unfortunately, he has no choice because he's still going to high school.
Uh,
I mean, he has a choice, but and he loves his dad. Just, um, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive that he feels kind of silly, now that he knows how his dad is. But it does not, you know, and I'll tell him as it's all about the timing, unfortunately. But you know, I when I get a chance, I will let him know. Like it's not that that's not normal, because what's normal, right? You know, there are people who've lived in abusive households that find that to be very normal. But is that really how you want to live your life? How you want to communicate? What you want to give to the people, to your kids and their kids, you know, and your great grandchildren? Is that the lifestyle that you really want for them?
Well, I
So,
think it's obvious you and I would answer that question differently than the way Kenny answered it.
yeah, yeah. So, and yet, too, I was talking to a friend. I said, as many examples as I've given people, they just don't seem. There's still that excuse. It's like it to me is almost like Republicans, yeah, giving excuses for why they would support Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, it's not that bad, okay, but it is an abstraction. Like it's like, look, I have given you like just personal opinions, like personal, not opinions, but facts, personal facts, and yet, oh, all these excuses. You know, no, they're cool. No, they're not. I don't know. Personal accounts about myself, about my children, and it's still that excuse. And let me tell you, I am not like that. And I will say that with pride, because when my friend was telling me about this crazy abusive relationship she was in with like this idiot who just did not deserve her, I was a bitch to him. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't want to hear his side of the story because I've heard enough of her story. I've seen enough of her suffering to see that, you know what? Why am I even associating myself with somebody like that? And his reaction to me was even worse. Like knowing that I took sides. Oh, yeah, he was a dick to me. So I will take sides, and hopefully I take the right ones.
Do you think he deserved a hearing?
Huh?
Do you think he deserved to have his side heard?
Fuck no. That's why I don't give a shit. Like, no. Like there's like like I don't know, maybe it's a woman thing, but I've seen trauma firsthand to be able to go, oh yeah, you fucked my girl up. No, thank you. You know, um, there's there is nothing like. Why would I even try to be neutral for somebody like that? But no, I'm just that awesome, you know. Not too many people have the fucking courage or balls to be able to like have that type of discernment and act on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too bad because we really need everybody.
Well, the people who have the balls to do it are the people who are unthinking.
And thinking,
Yeah, they're the ones that are just believing what they believe what they're told, and they'll take action based on what they believe, but it's not, well considered. It's not
oh
looking at
yeah,
the new facts. It's looking at the old dogma.
yeah, the loudest people,
You know
unfortunately,
what I
are
mean?
the most misinformed. Yeah,
Yeah, the most dogmatic, the most identified with their tribe, the one whose values come from association and not from truth. Those are the people who have the confidence to act, and do whatever they're told.
mm-hmm.
And they do it with pride. Yes, I'm part of this community. Yes, I'm a soldier for this community. I'll go out and abuse those other people over there because I'm being told to do that. Therefore, I'll do it well. That's what you see too much of.
Yeah.
It's a blind obedience. And when we get our version of our Nuremberg trials, boy, I'm looking forward to that justice if it's ever possible. I just don't think
It's
there's going to be enough of a functioning government in this country for us to even have those.
yeah. Is it so bad to take a pause and wonder if you're like to ask yourself, maybe I'm wrong?
I do. I'm looking every day. That's why I'm so open to talking to MAGA. I'm
Yeah, not
open to being told, "Hey, I'm wrong here."
that wasn't, you know, it wasn't directed as you to you, of course, but
Sorry,
um
I have to
no,
take
no,
it in
no.
personally, you know.
That's another problem these days is nobody really takes a pause. Like take a pause to consider
There's nothing to consider. I'm right, you're wrong.
it. I know. That's what my ex told me one day too. He's like, I just want you to think about it. Just take a minute to think. And I wanted to like, oh hell no.
Hey,
So the
you know
person
what
who
my
does not
standard
know how to
response,
shut the fuck is up says
Kayla?
like so by the way, I wasn't done, but go ahead. Now I'm done.
No, I'm just being an asshole. I'm just saying my standard response is, Kayla, what's his phone number?
So
Now on, I'm going to hear over before I speak. Is that okay? Or at least count to three. I interrupt you way too often. I know that, and it's starting to irritate you. It's starting to irritate me too.
I know. Now it's also a reflection of me. I take too long of a pause sometimes. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I do see that it has its disadvantages because we are a culture that just like um really favors the people who talk a lot, really favors the quick-minded. And there's nothing wrong with being quick-minded. In fact, we need those people. I that's part of the reason why I'm here. I like listening to you. So
Some of these social cues you get visually as well. So if we're able to see, okay, this person has paused, then it might be easier to say, okay, now there's an opportunity.
yeah. By the way, speaking of that, I'm just gonna divert just for a little bit. I had my very first AI um, interview. It was so bizarre.
Wait, what? What is this?
I had my very first AI interview, and it was so bizarre.
No, I heard that. But what do you mean by that? What do you mean by AI interview?
There was a AI prompts. So AI was a computer was talking to me. AI was talking to me.
Yeah.
I had my camera on, and I had to answer like an interview. So AI was
Why?
talking to me, and I answered. Why?
Did a
It was for a
company
development
ask you
position. Yeah,
what?
yeah, it was all through my consent. Absolutely. It was part of the process. So
I would never work for that company.
I have to admit, I was very intrigued, but it's so impersonal. It was bizarre. I've heard it like they they basically sent me an email saying, right now it based on your interview, it doesn't look like you align with us, but here retake it again. And it's probably because like they asked for my feedback and I said, here's my feedback. This is very impersonal and it's really uncomfortable. And there's something about a human connection that just makes me, respond a little better, and there's nuances when it comes to an actual human talking to me. I said, so this the whole thing made me very uncomfortable. and I did not like it. So
Did they warn you that it was going to be an AI interview?
yeah,
Okay. Can I say what I would do?
go ahead.
If they warned me that it was going to be an AI interview, I would warn them and say, okay, your AI is going to be talking to my AI bot. I'm going to train my AI bot to respond to your AI bot.
Yeah,
And if they
very
think that's okay,
strange.
fine, let's proceed. But if I think that that's not okay and they don't see the hypocrisy, then I would not work for that organization.
That's a good one.
Look, if you're going to hire a human and you want to pick the right human, you want to get to know that human. But if you're
Hmm.
having a bot do that for you, you're not really getting to know that human.
Yeah.
One thing I would also say is, you want me to interview with this bot? Fine. I'll work for this bot, but I'll only report to this bot, nobody else.
That's even better. And I
Right?
shall
Don't
call
you?
my bot
Yeah,
C3PO.
that's right. Don't go coming in later and telling me what's wrong with what I did when, hey, I cleared it with the bot.
C3PO thinks it's just fine.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my God.
In fact, I intentionally don't use AI on my LinkedIn because I don't want it to look superficial and, perfected and perfect.
There's only
I
one
think,
person in my LinkedIn that actually asked me a question based on some of the stuff that I wrote.
yeah,
Everybody else just like it's crickets. Meanwhile, it's the same shit. The five things that you need to do to blah blah blah. It's like one sentence, and then one or two sentence paragraphs. Everybody looks like scrubbed neatly
yeah,
and AI'd up,
yeah.
and the content is the same.
All the right buzzwords, all the right formatting,
Meanwhile,
all
I'm
the
putting
right
myself
grammar.
there, putting dance pictures of myself on
Right.
there. Oh my God. Only one person addressed politics. It's too bad I forgot where that person is. But only one person had addressed politics and why we should be involved, you know?
They wanted you to be mega.
No, they were basically saying, hey, if you're a nonprofit organization, you really should be involved in politics. In fact, he was encouraging corporations to be involved. And I thought
Good.
that was great.
That is good. What organization is that? Let's give them props.
I know. For whatever reason, I didn't follow that guy. I should have followed him.
Hmm. I'm still plugged into at least two different communities in the Bay Area for engineering and leadership. One is the Silicon Valley Engineering Leadership Circle, and the
Uh-huh.
other is, let's see, what's the other one? I forget what is it? The VPECOP, the VP of Engineering Community of Practice. There might
Mm-hmm.
be one or two others. And one of my subtle messages, and I'm about to make it less subtle, is you guys are in positions of influence.
Yeah,
Do not shirk from addressing what's right and wrong.
yeah.
Because if you do, you're just going to be part of the bystander community that's just going to let all of this oppression happen.
And then you're going to be part of the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yet, too many people say, oh, well, I'm just going to do my job. I want to stay out of politics. That is fucking privilege.
Yeah.
And people get pissed off when I say that, as other people have, as you've noticed. This is not a time to be sitting on the sidelines. Are you still there?
Yep. No, I'm here. I'm totally listening.
Yeah.
I agree. The whole Epstein thing is actually very disgusting. Jack was right about that one. It was very
But
disgusting.
we cannot avert our eyes. We cannot avert our ears to this crap.
Absolutely not. I love what Vernon. I love
I
his
didn't see
rants.
what he posted, by the way. I tried looking for it, but I couldn't find it.
Well, I copied and pasted the text. You
Oh
can
yeah,
see
I
that.
saw that. Yes, I agree
Yeah.
with that. But I couldn't actually find his post, and I can't actually even connect with him. I found him on Instagram, but not on Facebook.
Oh, you should tell Tyra. I
Uh,
reached out to Tyra. I hope
Tyra
she's
and I haven't interacted in years, so I don't
but,
know that she would welcome that.
well, his name has recently been associated with um a movie that's coming out about Nat King Cole, which is amazing. And he also helped to write that script. And so
Nice.
I texted him and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that you know that I saw that. And congratulations, and I hope you. I also hope you. I love your posts or something like that." And then
Mm-hmm.
I messaged Tyra to let her know that I was thinking about her, and that I messaged Vernon and said, congratulations, and I hope she's okay with it, because
Mm-hmm.
I know my involvement with men and other people's men sometimes gets construed.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't heard back from her, and so I'm hoping that she's just busy and not pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so, but you just never know where people are at in their lives.
Never know. I'm hoping Tara's better than that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Plus, I need to visit her just to say hi. I know she's been
Mm-hmm.
having difficulty with her knee and all that good stuff.
Don't they seem to still be traveling and visiting places and having fun? I thought I saw
They
some of
they went
those posts.
hiking. I know that.
Oh, that seems to be a good sign for her legs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I keep referring to a list of things I want to talk about, but they seem so left field compared to what's so immediate. And I think by immediate, I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to say something about what you and Heiner and Jack were talking about, being, the only woman in this conversation. Um, I just decided not to. But I always wonder what um men's obsession is with sex. I suppose it's a biological thing, but
I think a lot of it is biological. Yeah.
I mean, I know women who are sex crazed, but there's just this obsession with it, to the point where you know, it's caused a great deal of abuse and unhappiness to women.
Are you talking to the cultural norms or are you talking to the abuse that seems to be more extreme, is represented in the
I'm
Epstein
talking of
shit?
both, absolutely
Yeah.
both.
Okay. That's a
There is
big
like this
topic.
huge
And it's a
obsession
big
about
triggering
sex.
topic for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
We should be able to talk about it objectively and calmly and I'm not saying dispassionately because there's a lot of passion and emotion there, but we should be able to do it reasonably.
I have to think about the times when I was sex crazed, if I even would call myself that. It wasn't something that I craved. What I craved was the connection associated with sex, and that's why a lot of people make fun of women who get attached, is because I really wanted that. I wanted that connection with somebody. I wanted that lifelong companionship. Um, and it's, I suppose, a lot more complicated when you consider just one person, or somebody that you want longevity with. Um, that was the only thing, and I felt like sex was a way to get that type of companionship. Um, and it was, oh my god, that's so bad. Like, if if I had a chance to go back to my younger self in a parallel universe, I would probably say, please don't focus on that, because that's not a healthy way whatsoever you know um, to view companionship, is through sex. And then there's that polarized opposite of it, where sex is just an act. Mostly, in terms of men, um, more so in women these days too. But I have never had that act, that obsession for that act. Even when I have only had sex with people just to have sex with them. If anything, it was more like an eye roll, and like something that that is like, well, I guess I'm taking one for the team for humanity here. It was never something, but it wasn't that crazed, weird, like violent, almost fetish. And that poor excuse of, well, it's just how biology is. Like, I've never considered harming somebody with my vagina, you know? So I don't, that part I just don't get. Even in women, like, I don't find it, when there are songs written about going down on each other for a very long time, that does not excite me. It doesn't. Love excites me. Connection has always excited me, not sucking someone's dick for forever. Yes, I understand this is being recorded, and I'm totally fine with it.
So much of it seems to be so transactional because we take it for granted that our society is transactional. And that's what I think capitalism teaches us. Tit for tat.
Yeah.
It's not about relationship. I much prefer a relationship-based society, but that's not what we've built here. Even family relationships are being destroyed by the common values, or what passes as common.
Yeah.
Like multi-generational families have become extinct here in the US.
I mean, if you think about all of the unhappiness done just by sex, the thing that's supposed to make you feel good, supposedly. Yeah, families broken for a piece of ass, piece of dick, piece of pussy, whatever. Like, all of that unhappiness for a singular moment that's supposed to be beautiful.
And not the least of which is you're being exploited for it.
Yeah.
Use this product. It'll make you sexier, you know? It'll make you more attractive. It'll make you smell better. Wear this suit, wear this watch, wear these shoes, you know, get
Yeah.
this Botox, suck the
Yeah.
fat out of here, put it over there. There's $1 trillion industries, just leveraging all this crap.
Yeah.
To the extent that I take a look at pictures of celebrities now, I can barely look at them. These faces look so artificial.
Oh my God.
I can't even come close to finding that attractive.
I was telling my sister that unfortunately working remote for such a long time okay, I'm saying this objectively, okay, don't take it personal or anything, has made me like feel ugly, like I don't want to go out. Because when I go out, it is like such an inconvenience. Like I have to put makeup on, I have to do this, I have to do that. That's how I feel. I need what I feel I need to do to just like look attractive or get any semblance of respect or attention. Unfortunately, as a woman and as an attractive woman a long time ago, like I feel like that's what I need to do, and it's too bad. Why like how much time I waste, not only thinking about that, but applying makeup and applying all this bullshit and trying to look good, just to go outside. It's just like, how much money we would all save if we did not
Exactly.
have that.
Exactly. I was trying to make that point. You're being conned. If you don't do this, you're not going to look good. You're not supposed to be out in society unless you buy all these products and spend all this time doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, can I make it about me now?
Yes.
If I ever do visit you, do not feel compelled to do any of that. If we go out for, like a beverage or a meal, do not feel ever the slightest pressure to do that. The beauty is in the thinking, the values, the
Yeah.
way you live your life.
It's the way it should be, right? So why is
Exactly.
it difficult for us? You know?
Okay, so here, I'll make it even more easy for you, okay? If we ever do, I'm just going to show up the way I am. I'm not going to look any different than the way I look on video right now.
I wonder if that'd be a really good social experiment.
Oh, I've done it my entire life. I can't even tell you the last time I bought a shirt or a pair of pants. It's been years.
Yeah. That's one thing I was telling Max, like that'd be fun to, he wants to move to Hawaii and I totally get it. Trust me.
Mhm.
And I've been looking at stuff in Hawaii too. But one thing is they do not give a shit about what they wear
Yep,
over there, which is amazing. I just love that,
yep.
you know?
Wait, are you
Um,
saying even the women?
yeah, like they don't care. They walk around in flip flops and,
Okay, good.
basketball
And muumuus.
shorts.
I know my mom used to wear a muumuu
Yeah.
all the time.
If anything, a muumuu is like how you dress up.
Yeah,
And those things aren't cheap. They're kind of expensive.
yeah. That's some of the attraction for me for going Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
I think it can live a much more casual life there. That's not going to be true though if I go to, like Italy or any of the other European places.
Yeah.
Or at least it doesn't feel that way yet to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, what I've noticed there in the places that I'm looking at, they're going to say, oh, this is in the wine valley of so and so, and you can enjoy wine every evening with your friends. That's like, what if I don't want to drink wine every evening? Am I going to be viewed as an outsider?
Yeah.
And even Greece, here, have some ouzo. Well, what if I don't want some?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand that it might, like be a social lubricant, but do I have to imbibe poison in order to do that?
A social lubricant.
Sorry, was that the wrong choice of words?
No, no, that
It helps me
was
slide
awesome.
more easily into society, okay?
Oh my gosh. This is where the real
Right.
GCC conversations happen.
Come on, by the way, I'm still holding back. I'm not saying what I'm really, thinking most of the time, on GCC. That
Oh
interaction I
man.
had with Josh before, I was holding back.
I don't ever want you to hold back.
Oh, okay.
It'd be fun.
Shall I invite him back?
No.
Josh, if you're hearing this, feel free to come on.
Oh my God. Well, you might be proud of me. I don't know. Um, I kind of so Melissa fucking didn't show. This is the second time I've gone to the office and she wasn't there when I needed her to be there. When we discussed that she should be there, because I specifically needed to go into her office or talk to her in person or something like that. Um, and I was so mad. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I left, there's after hearing some excuse. And a homegirl, she called me 3 times in a row like a fucking ex-boyfriend. I was mad. I was talking to the HR person. The HR person's not going to say anything or do anything. But anyways, I just decided I'm not going to talk to her. Fuck this. Like, I don't have anything good to say. And yes, I'm snapping over something that's kind of sort of menial, but it's happened way too much. And so it was kind of a way for me to make my stand against, just hold my boundaries true. Like, girl, if you're not going to be there, I am not going to be there too. And so I don't know. I thought you might like to know that that's how I stand up to my boss. Is I don't talk to
Did,
her.
did, did you two have an appointment? It sounds like you had an implied appointment.
Yeah. Well, the first time that happened, we had our biweekly appointment, or every other bi-monthly appointment. And we always have it in person. For some strange reason, she believed for it to be not in person. And she said, "Oh, I thought it was going to be over Zoom. Like, why would it be over Zoom when it's always been in person?" Which she actually wanted it to be like that, not me. And so, anyhow, she was in another city when the first appointment was supposed to happen. Okay, second sort of appointment. I needed to retrieve something that she had locked up in her office, and it was because my timeline differs from her timeline. I like to get things done early. I like to space my time out because I do know that, our event's coming up and my time is going to be extremely limited. So I had mentioned to her, I need to retrieve something from your office so I can start working on it now so that it doesn't become so bad when the event comes. And she said, "Oh, yeah, okay." I said, "Are you going to be in tomorrow?" "Yes." "Okay. I plan to come anywhere between 10:30 and 11. Is that okay?" "Yes, that's fine. I'll be there." I go there. She wasn't there. "Oh, I thought you were talking about Friday." Like, I have no idea why you can't even look. Like, what's the difference between tomorrow and Friday? It could be she didn't realize that it was Wednesday when I talked to her. But anyways, I don't want to deal with that anymore. Not from an executive director. I really don't care if she's my boss. Um, if you are going to run a company, and like once in a while, okay, it is completely understandable. But now this has become chronic. It has been, and I don't want to put up with that anymore with somebody who is even higher than me. I don't give a shit if they sign my payroll, my time card. Like, if I have to be held to your standards, then you're going to be held to my standards.
Or her
And
own standards.
yes, exactly. Exactly. So the least I could do is, kind of subtly tell her that I'm not going to put up with this anymore.
Did this all start happening when and if she found out that you were actually on the way out?
No, no, she's always been this way. She's always, I just balance the good from the bad. Well, at least she's a great person, but I'm starting to think of like people in terms of, well, some people are very nice, and I appreciate kindness. It goes a long way. But some people have what I think is called um, toxic empathy, is when you use that as your excuse to not, um, hold your boundaries. And, like for instance, if you are in Melissa's position and you refuse to, hold another employee accountable, that to me is toxic empathy. That's like being unable to see that somebody is not only doing wrong to the company, but even to themselves.
And it's bad for the rest of the team who's watching all this happen
Yes, absolutely.
and say, okay, well, there's the hypocrisy, and essentially there's the favoritism,
Yeah, yeah. So,
which will unravel and create worse situations. I saw
mm-hmm.
that a lot.
In your company?
Yes.
Yeah. Difficult position to be in. I'm not saying it's not easy, but apparently, I guess it's easy overlooking that.
It's pretty prevalent.
Yeah.
I'm probably a little bit more. I don't know. I see this now, and because it didn't happen, but I would have been more direct with her.
Yeah. I have to learn how to be
But,
direct.
hey, Melissa, you said you were going to be here. Where are you?
Yeah.
At first in text, but then in a phone call within minutes.
Yeah.
That's what I would
No,
have
the first
done.
thing I did was call and then I texted.
Oh, okay, if you called, then you did that. Okay.
Yeah, but no answer. So,
I think then that's passive aggressiveness. I think you both
yeah.
sense that things are unraveling.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
Now, it's not irreparable, but it's going to take both of you. And now it doesn't sound like both of you are motivated.
Yeah. I don't know, Sam. I feel like I've tried as much as I could. Like I tried to provide a
I'm not
solution that
saying
might
you
help.
haven't. I'm saying that, she may not be motivated because she may think that you're already out the door.
Yeah. I don't know. And maybe it's better that way. Maybe maybe she just doesn't want to change, and it's better if I'm not there.
Yeah,
Then
in
it's a
which case,
win-win
both of you are
situation.
just waiting for the inevitable.
Yeah. So maybe there is no value in my position over there.
Well, it certainly seems like she doesn't see it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel bad. I don't want to talk about me.
Unless she... Well, let me talk about you then. you know, unless she thinks that she's already made attempts to patch things up with you. If there's any way that you could think that she might have thought that she was making an effort.
I hate to say this, but I feel like it's kind of a power thing. I think it's a subconscious power thing. I think there's two things in play. Number one, if I were to be like, let's say, second in command, like I thought I was going to be, like she had told even her assistant that she had wanted to make me. Um, maybe there's a question of she's always been afraid to tell people, some of the choices that she made because people might question them, and they have a right to question them. And I think questioning, things are very healthy. But she doesn't think so. So there's that
Not
aspect
if
of
you're
it.
insecure, right?
And the second thing is the power play, that whole, well, I'm in charge and I'm going to do this my way, and no, I could do this my way. I don't need somebody else to lead with me. There's also that insecure portion of this, because nobody really wants to admit their weaknesses, right? It's very difficult for a lot of people to admit their weaknesses. So, um, it's just another example of somebody who may not see or want to see that they need help.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people in true leadership, the leadership that actually sustains, they they leverage that as their greatest asset, is to be able to utilize their team, or at least one other person to co-lead, because two minds are certainly greater than one. But again, it just kind of goes to show, I don't know, power is, I guess, addicting. People hunger that, and whatever perceptions they have in their head.
Okay, so let me ask about that. Does Melissa need to be the smartest person in the room?
Uh, no, she just needs to be the one that talks the most. So I don't know. Would that be considered needs to be the smartest person in the room?
I don't know. People talk for different reasons.
Well, let's take, for example, a staff meeting. I had suggested that she allow every single one of us in management to talk about our section, because no one knows it better than us. And it took over a year for her to realize that. And I finally, in front of everybody, said it's exhausting when all we hear is you talking. And then I encouraged everybody to talk. And I told them, you are in your position for a reason. You earned this. You worked hard for this.
And how did that go over? Hello? Are you there? Hello? Are you on mute? Are you far from your mic?
Where is it?
Oh, I can hear you now. For like a minute, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, there it is. Hello?
Okay,
Uh-oh.
I can hear you
Hold
now.
on. I'm here. Yeah.
Sounded like you dropped out for
My
about a minute.
Yeah, like literally a minute. My AirPods died.
Ah,
And
okay.
then I don't remember where I put my phone. So stupid. But anyway, am I rambling? I always take those like instances as like, maybe it's better that happened. I feel like sometimes it's God's way of saying like, you need to shut the fuck up now.
Well, look, I don't think it was rambling, but you certainly let me ramble. So I think there's times to get things off your chest slash head. And then whoever's listening can help you put it back together and make it less rambly. So I think that's a form of collaboration.
Anyway, yeah, no, I empowered management to finally fucking speak, and now that's happening.
Well, do you think Melissa resents that?
I don't know, maybe. I've heard her
Maybe
say
she
under her
just
breath.
liked, having an audience every staff meeting, and she liked the opportunity to go off and rant.
Does that mean that what was that original question you had? A center of attention? Is that or to be the smartest person in the room?
Yes.
Do you think that's, you know, um, somebody who wants to be the smartest person in the room?
Not necessarily. Like I said, people talk for different reasons. And I think, for her, it might have been therapy.
Ah,
You know?
okay.
I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. For some people, yes, they have to be the smartest people in the room. For other people, it's just, hey, it's social for them. But for the others, it's therapy. For others, it's relationship building, team building. There's different reasons people talk.
Do you think it's healthy for me to to be so personal in these open forums?
I have no restriction. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. And I just like it when people are able to stand behind whatever they say. Like I'm willing to on these sessions. So I don't mind if things are controversial as long as you're willing to stand behind them. Now, if you don't want to later on say, yeah, I said that, or if you're uncomfortable when somebody says, did you say this? Then yeah, then don't say it. But if you're
Yeah.
comfortable standing behind what you say, I have no issue. I think that gets respect in my book. So many people want to say things, quote unquote, in private and not really stand behind those words in public. Well, in my view, it's just like if that's the way you feel, then don't say it.
Well, I mean, do you want to hear about my the personal shit going on between me and my boss or me and my
You know
kids?
why I think I do? It's because it all gives me insight into how collaboration either happens or doesn't happen.
Mm,
And you know me, I'm very weird that way. I think of everything in collaborological terms. Well, not everything, but I certainly have a collaborological take on things that I hear. That's not the only way I hear things.
yeah. Okay. That makes sense. It makes sense to me. Some people might not want to hear it.
And
That's
that's
why
why
I
I
asked.
say, well, if you're not comfortable, saying things on the record, then don't come. I'm not making you
Yeah.
come. I'm not making you talk. But if you talk, you better for sure stand behind what you say. Don't be a
Yeah.
goddamn coward and then, walk your words back when somebody says, did you say this?
Yeah.
That's my position. And that's I know uncomfortable for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want that. And some of those people are no longer here. But I've said almost exactly in those terms this before. I really, really much more admire people who say what they mean what they say, and aren't afraid to stand behind their words. And those people I respect and collect. So I like the fact that you do that.
Okay.
Now, there are some things that I will not say in public, but then I'm not going to say them in public. And I know the difference, and I'm willing to control myself, and I have a filter for that. And there's a number of different reasons for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
whatever people say here gives me sorry,
no,
go
no,
ahead.
no. Whatever people, no, they'll finish it.
Gives me different insight and perspectives and case studies, not the least of which is I am curious to see, how I could possibly be of use or benefit to my friends. Hopefully you consider myself a friend.
Of course.
So in those cases where you're, welcoming feedback, I try to give you the most authentic feedback I can.
You got it.
And the thing that surprised me most about what you said today, believe it or not, is the fact that Kenny could show up and sit for an hour next to Max and not say anything.
You know
That's
what's
what stuck
really,
out in my mind a lot.
you know what's sad is everybody that I know, like, oh, well, that's just him.
Yeah, well, that could be true. And still, I can still have the same feedback that I gave you.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm just, it surprises me when people are like, it, when people are, oh, you know, for me, like, I'm blown away. Like I mean, the fact that a father doesn't have anything to say to their son who did nothing wrong
Exactly.
is
Exactly.
blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked when people are like, oh, oh, that's weird.
Now, does that give you insight into how other people think families could normalize that behavior?
The only insight it gives me is that there's so many fucking stupid people on the planet, and fortunately, half of my friends are that way.
That's what I meant.
And it's so disappointing, and that's it goes back to, you already know, like, why I didn't want to say anything is because I am in that point this week where I am constantly disappointed at people. I've been disappointed this week at my boss, my relatives, my friends. It's like, it just, again, the only people that don't disappoint me are my dogs right now.
You
It
know,
just makes me want to. I mean, if Damien told me he had a fantastic job tomorrow, um, and a place to live, and that he's going to be okay, then I probably would proceed to move far away.
with Max, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I got it. I got it. I was kind of thinking about that. Why just Damien? Why not Max also?
But you know what? It like I wouldn't sell this house. I
Yeah,
would want, in
right.
fact, like, if anything, I would want to buy a second house. Like, have this house rented out, give it to one of the boys, have a second house. You know, Ideally, it would have been awesome to have your house. And again, I just like, that fantasy is still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I have a second house, like in a beautiful place like your place. And we go there, when either shit hits the fan or like, um, just like summertime or wintertime, or like just to have like a nice place. Oh, to
Mm-hmm.
be that privileged. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do. In fact, I worked hard to try and create that, and that's why it's so painful for me to work on, Plan B right now.
I know. Everything's painful, isn't it?
Only if I'm letting my human side of me express itself.
I've got some other really gnarly things that I can't say online, at
Yeah.
all. But it makes me wonder if certain people doing certain bad activities are actually smarter than a that try to do things the honest and moral way, especially in this political climate when it doesn't even matter at this point. We've got some shitty ass people in the government doing shitty things. It's like, well, why do I have to be honest and moral? And do things the right way when you guys aren't even doing it the right way.
Are you talking about nationally or are you talking about your local area?
I'm talking about something very personal, tied to something national. Like I'm
Okay.
just basically saying there's some shady shit that I know is happening, like to my the people that I know and I'm very close to are doing some fucked up shady shit, and they're thriving, and they've got money and all this crap, but they're not doing it like the legal, moral, honest way.
Yep.
And I'm wondering, like, does that even matter? Because here we have our own government, like, doing shitty things, not the legal, honest, moral way.
Yep. Can I respond to that with two thoughts?
Yeah, go for it.
Number one, I've made the same mistake. I think I've mentioned it before, as you refer to right now. And I'm okay with that because I'm trying to live life transparently in accordance with my values as I evolve them and express them. But here's idea number two. Idea number two is yes, in the short term, corruption, abuse of power, cruelty, oppression always works. It always works in the short term. But if you look in the long lens of history, it's never admired.
Yeah,
So
that's
civilization
right.
can only proceed if the most of us express our, compassion for others, communal success and health, doing things the right way, loving each other, building healthy environments and healthy societies. That's the only way that we as a species level up. But it's certainly true that as individuals, oh yeah, killing people, abusing power, taking liberties with the truth. Yeah, that always works in the short term. I myself, at least, to the best I can express, have never done that. And at financial cost to myself, I recognize.
Right.
But if I believe in eventual transparency, if anybody ever cares, they'll see that I tried to do it the right way. And there will be parts in there that people may not understand at first blush. But if they look deeper, I think they'll still see it. So, yeah, I know that if I had made different choices, I could be a multimillionaire by now, you know, but I chose not to take those paths. And for now, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If I believe in eventual transparency, I'm completely okay with that. But yeah, it's hard when some people say, "Oh, yeah, fuck it. If I die, who cares, right? Let me just go and do whatever fuck I want to screw other people over and just live my life, live my best life," as people say, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
not me. I know a lot of people do that, but that's not me. So you may be asking the wrong person. You ask 10 people, maybe two people might tell you, or one person might tell you what I'm telling you right now. The other people might tell you, yeah, Kayla, by all means, YOLO, just go and do it. And they'll give you all kinds of advantages. Yeah, go ahead and do this. Cut this corner, cut that corner, make your 500,000 or a million or 2 million. Give Damien a car, give Damien a house. He'll be happier for it. You'll be happier for it. You're gonna die anyway. Who cares?
Right.
That's not me.
Yeah.
And if you want to go into more specifics, we can get off this call and go off onto another call anytime you want.
I
Because
know,
I have
right?
more specifics myself. Okay. As you probably suspect. Oh, by the way, one more small data point. Okay.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody in the last couple of weeks. I won't say who. I
Yeah.
don't even know if you're connected to this person, but that person said they lost their phone. And so they lost all their contacts. And now that phone is not retrievable. The data cannot come back. So they got another phone.
Uh-huh.
And so this person told me that when she thought of how to recreate or reconstitute all those contacts, she said, who cares? I only care about these 10 people. And she knew who those 10 people were. And for me, at least, she thought I was one of those 10 people. And that's all she cares about is reconstituting that little book of contacts.
Mm.
So I thought that was interesting. And I feel privileged.
Yeah. Yeah. There's truth in that. You know, there are only a few people that I care about that I want to be friends with.
Oh, geez. Sorry. I just found a
Yeah.
blood spot on the floor.
Oh no. From who?
Oh, I think Gaia's having her period again.
Oh, didn't know she was uncut.
Gaia is uncut.
Wow. Okay.
I've been
Ooh.
putting diapers on her every 7 or 8 months, and now it's about time again.
He clits is
Oh,
cut. She's shedding like crazy. I'm pulling hair out of her. Her fur, her skin is just, oh my God. It's so satisfying
you run your hands through that? Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it?
to see all of that white fur fall on the floor. It's like, wow. I, I really should make money off of this. I don't know how long it takes to like.
A lot of people get irritated by that. But, I say, hey, there's enough fur here to constitute another whole golden retriever.
You know, yeah, I could make a hat.
Yeah. When people ask me, you like Goldens so much, aren't there any, bad aspects to Goldens? I say there's only three. Number one, they shed a lot. So if you care about that, don't get a Golden Retriever.
Yeah.
Number two, they love to eat cat poop. So either don't have a cat or don't get a Golden Retriever. Okay, so the bad breath is constant if you have a cat and if you don't clean out the litter box.
Yeah.
And number three, they're very, very envious, even of other Goldens. Like if they see you touching or petting another animal or human or cat or Golden, they just want to be like right in the middle and separating you from that other person that you're giving attention to. Those
Right.
are the only three downsides after owning 27 Golden Retrievers. Those are the only downsides I see to Golden Retrievers. There's no other bad characteristic of Golden Retrievers. They're close to perfect.
There's definitely more than Huskies, but I still like Huskies.
Well, that's where, we can argue. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, resolved. Golden Retrievers are better than Huskies. Go.
Oh man. I watched this documentary of these kids like um going into the wild, I suppose, and learning from dogs, Huskies, sled dogs. And it's somewhere I think in Norway or I don't know, somewhere that is not here. Um, and it's just amazing the connection these dogs have. But at the same time, I'm so glad. Do you remember that I almost got this commercial for
Yes,
dog
you
sledding?
and Maxwell were both going for it, or you got it when somebody noticed that you were there while having brought Maxwell to something.
I forgot what the context was, but it was just basically I reached out to Max's. I saw something that said they're looking for an actual dog sledder, a real one, and I said I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if this like counts, but I do urban mushing, and
Mm.
so she submitted one of my videos for urban mushing, and
Uh-huh.
anyways, I got an interview, and then I got a call back
Nice.
from the director, and so it was a SAG commercial, which would have been amazing, but Anyways, I didn't get chosen. This girl that I actually admire, she got chosen.
Hmm.
And anyways, through this documentary that I watched last night, I discovered that it is quite difficult to actually dog sled in the snow.
Hmm.
And these kids were saying, and they're teenage kids, so they're obviously more limber. They're probably a little bit more athletic than I am. Um, Even though I do have experiences with dogs, they were just talking about how they're falling all the time. Anyways, in my head, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't get that commercial. Imagine if I got that commercial, because they would have teamed me up with like six dogs. And I've
Uh-huh.
only, done mushing with these two dogs.
Yeah.
And the kids were saying how, like, um, rounding the terms, the corner is very hard. Um, you have to put your foot on the brake and learn how to stop, which is, you know, it's like stopping is always very jarring. Like you have to learn how to like tell the dogs to slow down and then stop.
Uh-huh.
Um, but anyhow, imagine if I did that commercial and they realized that I really can't mush. It just made me go, oh, you know, God works in mysterious ways, I suppose.
Nah, it would have been fine because at least you were upfront about them that you only did urban mushing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would have been
Well,
fine.
they probably would have been all like, this bitch is taking up all of our airtime. Probably would have cost production a lot of money.
Whatever. If they decided to use you, that would have been their decision.
Ah,
Hey,
speaking of the Huskies,
whoever you're
what?
connected with in doing commercials and stuff like that,
Uh
if they ever want an old looking Asian guy, to do a little bit of Tai Chi,
huh.
send them my way.
That's what I always like looking at, you know, the fat Asian lady breakdowns. You need a
Oh,
plus size Asian woman? here, here I am.
well, here I am, a plus size Asian guy. You're not plus size.
Oh no, I am.
You've got some weird ideas about yourself.
Body dysmorphia? No. Remember the last time you saw me? I should have
When you were
appreciated.
here,
Yeah. I should have
I remember when
appreciated
you were
myself
here.
a little bit more.
Hmm. I
I
still
should
think it's really
appreciate
odd.
myself.
You should, absolutely. Man, you had such a good dancing career. I think that's really fantastic. But I still think it's so odd that
Hmm.
you got your knee injury here.
Yeah.
Of all the
Well,
places and times to get it, I don't even think you were doing anything particularly strenuous.
yeah, I was dancing. I was hip hop dancing.
Is that what did it?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I asked you
Oh.
to do that, then I'm at fault then.
No, you didn't. I wanted to put something on TikTok, and that's what happened.
All right, fine. You can blame TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can't believe we talked an hour after. It's already, what, 11?
Oh, geez, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even have
Time
a few
flies when
action
you're
items
having
I need to
fun.
take care of today.
Yeah. Max is finally awake. Damien should be here in 2 hours. I'm cleaning his room. It's so dusty.
What would happen if you asked Max to make you breakfast?
I don't know. I already ate
You ever
breakfast
done
though.
that? Oh, you didn't.
Nope.
All right.
And it's, yeah. I wake up um a lot sooner than the kids do. So
Yep.
yeah. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, good conversation.
Okay, Kayla. Like I said, anytime you want to get into more specifics, let me know. And
You
if I'm
got
not
it.
busy in one of my action items, we can go into specifics and we can inundate each other with stories.
Sounds good.
Okay. Talk to
All
you later.
right.
Hopefully, we'll see
Okay.
you tomorrow. Bye.
Yes. Bye.